if I can make this happen. Hello everybody, it's Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead. Getting there. No, it still did it again.
Well.
Okay, I'm leaving it alone.
You don't have your thing over here in the corner.
Oh, if I need to stop and scroll.
Yeah, if you need to stop and scroll.
It's going to do that again.
Yeah, you got your hand laying on that mat there. That's what it is.
That'll work.
You know, you still don't have it where you can do it. You have to move it on over. Come on. There you go.
There we go. We got it. Okay.
Come on now. Okay.
No commercial? Oh,
Oh.
A commercial. I guess they're saying, look, I've tried everything. There ain't nothing I can do about these
Oh, it even tells
commercials.
us what time it is and the local stuff right there. I don't even know where that come from.
Oh, my mouse was on something it
The
wasn't
mouse
supposed
was
to
on.
be.
Ah, these mice
All
running
right.
all over everything.
People from all over everywhere popping in, aren't they?
Oh my goodness!
See, lots and
Lord have
lots
mercy.
of people.
There's a lot of people here.
Well, first off, let me tell people that we sent stuff to the last 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. The Jackson post office, when things got there, they kind of sat for at least pretty much 2 weeks. So if you won something or you've ordered something from us, once things hit Jackson, Mississippi post office, they just sat. They even had a post in the newspaper and on the different outlets that they were just lined up. For whatever reason, all the mail was in boxes and bins and stuff and just sitting. I don't know why. And I think day before yesterday, things started being processed again. I had several people either cutbacks. I don't.
Doge.
Well, maybe. I don't think it affected Jackson yet. I think it's just poor management. It happens off and on.
It happens when you just don't got nobody who knows how to run an office.
Yeah, it happens, but maybe things are...
yes, Darlene, Jackson is asleep.
Yeah, I think maybe now that things are moving because the last 2 to 3 days, things have left Jackson and hit probably not much better, but Mobile. So,
I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll just have to see.
And some people did get their stuff after 2 to 3 weeks, so we're waiting to see on how they do.
Mr. Will Be Cool says, hello from the frigid south. Yes, today, I mean, the last 3 days to me has been just downright miserable.
Today was good, though.
Well, yeah, because you didn't come out till dinner time. I mean, I was out in daylight this morning. It was cold.
Some people got better sense than to get out at daylight.
It was just cold. It was cold and miserable.
Beverly says that post offices everywhere are so slow. I think so, and I can't believe that I told Danny today I can order something from Amazon, and 3 days later I've got it. I can order something from Walmart, and 3 days later I've got it. I can put a letter in the mailbox.
Yeah.
And 6 weeks later, the person gets it, and they live 2 counties over. I mean, I don't know.
Yes, Brandy Barger says, Danny, I'm wanting to get a water purifying system. Do you still like your Alexa Pure? Yes.
Okay, so Danny's been planting. I can't say we. Danny's been planting fruit trees. So
I have about wore myself out digging holes and laying on the ground.
Yeah. So I told him, let's see, didn't you see the Senate hearing with the Postmaster General acting like a 4-year-old? No, I did not.
No, we did not. But I am not surprised one bit in the world with the people we have in power and all in these places. That none of that surprises me. All
right, so Danny's going to talk about fruit trees and different things, but somebody's asking about the maturity days on Danny corn.
Well, it all depends on, Lori, where you live at in the country and how much fertilizer you put to it and what the weather's doing. It can range anywhere from 65 days to 80 days. I mean, it just literally depends on how well it's taken care of, what kind of weather we got going on. And most people don't realize, all plants are that way. When you plant a bean seed, a pea seed, a squash seed, a cucumber, a tomato, you have so many days that plant is supposed to, before that seed matures, and you're supposed to be able to picking from it. And if you don't have the proper nutrition there, or the weather doesn't cooperate, it can be a lot longer, it can be a lot shorter. When you see those days to maturity, that's just a roundabout figure of time under ideal conditions when something other should be ready.
Okay, Miss Starla said, what is the best peach trees to plant in Texas? She already has the Redskin and Alberta and Majestic.
Well, it all depends. I mean, it depends on, first of all, how many chill hours do you have in a winter where you're at? That is the number one thing right there. You can plant all the peach trees you want, but if you don't have the one for the right number of chill hours, it'll either bloom too early if it's too few chill hours, or it won't bloom at all if it's don't get cold enough, and then it blooms way late, and then you get a lot of insect issues because it gets too hot. I mean, having the right number of chill hours is the key to any of your trees, whether it's peaches, apples, plums, pears, all of them, is knowing the chill hours. And I would say you was in what'd you say, Texas?
Texas.
Yeah, well, I mean, gosh, Texas, you go from the panhandle down to the tip of the...
So there's a wide variety.
There's a wide variety there. You covering 3 zones right there in that. You go from Brownsville all the way to the panhandle of Texas, and you got 3 totally different climates there.
Yeah, it would be best to find out what people in your area are growing when it comes to fruit trees, because the old timers, lots of times that have a supply of fruit on their land, always know what grows and what doesn't. They've already tried it. So you don't want to be trying stuff that somebody else has tried and doesn't work.
Because it takes years for a peach tree to actually bear peaches, and they're not a long life tree anyway. So
how long? Maybe 15 years?
10 years would be pushing 10 would be pushing a good peach tree. Now some people get lucky and can keep them longer than that, but I would say check with the people in your area and see who's growing what successfully as far as varieties are concerned.
Miss Peggy finally got her coffee from Silver Run. When are you going to plant your corn?
Oh my
Nana
goodness.
City.
Nana's City Garden, probably, according to what I've seen, if the weather continues to be accurate. Of course, I already know it's not accurate, okay, so I mean that's kind of a cliche, I guess. We have another massive weather system coming.
They want you to move this way a little bit.
I'm just sitting there being lazy. We have another massive weather system coming in the first or second week in March, so it's going to be kind of difficult to say. Probably going to see our first possible hurricane of the season going up the East Coast. I don't think it's going to actually get into land anywhere, but
it's in the ocean.
But it'll come across Texas, go out into the Gulf, go down below the southern tip of Florida, and go all the way up the East Coast, if what they're saying is accurate.
Okay, Patricia said, Oklahoma location, mulberry is a small tree and city-like. Can I cut off branches and coat with root growth and plant in an area where roots won't damage pipes, etc.?
Patricia, I would cut you can cut them off once they start leafing out and everything. Make sure you get the very tip ends of the limbs, the first year growth. Don't get anything older, and make a long cut on it. Put the rooting hormone on it, and I would put it in a controlled environment like a pot, where I can make like a little greenhouse effect over it and keep it covered so that it doesn't dry out and it stays moist in there. And once it gets going, then I would plant it outside. There's not very good success with just cutting a limb off, just sticking it in the ground.
And two, the thing with the mulberry now, those roots, like you said, to protect, not putting it where pipes are, mulberry roots go everywhere.
We
had one near the pond, and when we put the greenhouse or high tunnel, how far away is it?
Oh gosh, that tree is running a good 30 feet. you know.
And we dig roots up out of the high tunnel.
Yeah.
They're going all the way to the high tunnel, so they cover a huge area. Do you have to plant 2 different peach trees?
There again, it depends on the peach trees. Some peach trees are self-fertile, some are not. Some are cling-free, some are cling. It all depends on the kind of peach that you're looking for. I personally love the cling-frees, because if there's anything in the world I hate, it's whittling a peach off of a seed. You know, I like the cling-free myself.
Okay. No, we do not live close to Vicksburg, Mississippi. We are in...
We're about 30 miles north of the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Yeah. All right, somebody earlier asked this question. I wrote it down. They wanted to know about your air-grafted fruit trees, an update on it. So
Ms. Wanda's making a video right now that will have the apples and stuff in it that I air-grafted. Everything done fine. Matter of fact, they done better than I anticipated them doing. They had beautiful roots on them and in the pots and stuff, and they're already in the ground Cadillacing.
All right, Lori says, I live in western
New York State.
I guess it's supposed to be New York State.
Yeah.
Is it too early to start seeds in the house?
Let's see, you live in western New York. I think it probably not for cabbages and broccolis and stuff like that, but it would be a little bit early for tomatoes and peppers. I would give it another week or 2 before I did peppers and tomatoes, but you could probably start cabbage, broccoli, collards, cauliflower, stuff to that nature.
Carrots?
No, it'd be too early. Too early for carrot.
When should I spray dormant oil on my peach trees in Georgia?
If I was going to spray dormant oil, I probably would have sprayed it, because once it starts sprouting, it's too late to spray it once they start sprouting. You need to do it before the leaves or the buds start coming on.
All right, Miss Laura said she put sweet potatoes in dirt in a Tupperware on a heat mat and they got moldy. Any ideas?
Sounds like the soil got too damp, because they don't really need any moisture up front. You just need to put the potatoes in there and just leave them alone. Once they start growing, then you can add moisture to them.
Are the green stalks sturdy outside with wind?
We've never had any problem outside. I mean, I don't guess we've ever had one blow over, have we? No.
Once you put the dirt in them, they're pretty heavy, and they kind of snap down on each other, and it would take a strong wind to blow those things over. A really strong wind, I would think.
3D Homestead says, I know you have older videos on pruning fruit trees, but a new one would be awesome. Ms. Wanda just shot one with me pruning a grapevine. So
Yeah,
that one will come out.
Not much, but just a little.
Just a little bit of a clip on it, not much, because there wasn't really much to it, but I do have that one coming out.
We have them on you trimming. I don't even remember what all we've done.
I've done apple trees. I've done all of them. Blueberries. I mean, but some, like they said.
All right. So when is it time to air graft? Because they were asking about the air grafted ones, and they're doing real good. But what time of the year and what state of?
Anytime, and from the spring, once they leaf out real good. Anytime from once they leaf out until probably early summer is your best time to air graft.
Darlene says, I know you're busy, but have you butchered the pig yet?
Yes, we have the
video coming Monday on the cooler.
Yeah, we have the pigs been hanging in the cooler now 2 days. Tomorrow will be 3 days.
All right, so we do have videos coming. At least Monday will be on the cooler, and at the end they putting the pig in, and then we'll be doing a little bit, but not how-to on.
It won't be another how-to on it because we just did a video on how to butcher them. But let me tell you this: when you go to plant peach trees, you want to put some fireplace ashes or some wood stove ashes, you know, hardwood ashes, whatever you want to call it. You want to mix that into the soil all around the roots of the tree when you plant a peach tree to help keep away insects and borers and stuff like that. And then every year you want to sprinkle some fireplace ashes around the base of the tree and out about 2 or 3 feet from the tree.
Okay, Fawn Grove says, Danny, what is a good fertilizer for apple, peach, and pear trees?
Just a good, like, triple 13 or 888, 10 10 10. Any of them fertilizers like that is a good fertilizer for any of your trees.
Okay. Mr. Hills Mills is in here. We're going to be working on the Hills Mills electroculture for fruit trees. Mr.
Yep.
Mickey sent us some, and we're going to be putting those in when we get the rest of the fruit trees
Yeah,
planted.
once I get the orchards more.
Kind of get it.
I probably will start doing one pretty soon. The peach orchard, I'm probably going to go ahead and try to go ahead and start getting them in it. And I'll be showing how I install them.
Nostradome says, I have 2 green stalks on my deck. They've been hit by 70 to 80 mile per hour winds during storms and have never moved.
Yeah, we've never had one of ours blow over.
Let's see where we're at now. My Retired Christian Life said with their green stalks, if they know they're going to get a lot of wind, they go ahead and water them to make them a little bit heavier until the storm's over. The pig processing isn't going very good because it's just hanging in the cooler. We hadn't even started.
Yeah, the pig processing's over with, really.
Not the cutting up part.
Not the cutting up part, but the hanging, the skinning and all that, the vesicrating and all that, that's already done. He's just hanging in the cooler right now. The cooler is working fantastic.
Can you use fire pit ash if you have no fireplace or wood stove?
As long as you don't have resinous woods like pine and stuff like that, and as long as it's all hardwood, yeah, you can use it.
Renata says the aphids have hit her. That's crazy.
Already?
She said after that snow.
They must have came into her greenhouse then, because I don't think they'd be outside.
We hadn't had any yet, but
no, we ain't had nothing yet.
Let's see where we're at. Let's see. When are you planting your Cherokee yellow wax beans?
I will plant my Cherokee yellow wax beans, Jana. Probably as soon as I know there's not going to be any more frost, and I know that the nighttime temperatures are not colder than 50 degrees. I probably will plant them.
We're going to be giving away some seeds tonight too. I wanted to mention what was in the packet. We're going to be sending out some packets. We're just going to pick people at random off and on throughout the night, and they have some Cherokee tans. Somebody sent us some Cherokee tans to give away. Then we were sent, Tim and Heidi gave us some, what is that? Not Jimmy Red.
No, Jimmy Red, yeah.
Jimmy Red field corn. Then we've got Mr. Bart sent us some peas, okra, and collards, I think.
Cabbage collards.
Cabbage collards.
Yeah.
So I know those are in the pack right now, and we just sending out a whole pack of seeds to different people.
Howard and Renee Robinson says, Danny, how often do I fertilize peach trees? I fertilize mine when they first start blooming. I put some fertilizer around them, and then I fertilize them again when the peaches are about the size of a quarter. And that's all the fertilizing I do to mine.
All right. I'm just writing down.
Well, it's clicking on by. Let's see here.
All right, so I'm trying to see what I got.
Joey, there he is. I see Joey in here. Joey says, "Hi guys, how's the knee, Danny?" It's not normal yet, but I can walk around on it and it don't hurt. But I can't kneel or anything like that. I have to just basically, you might say I just fall down on the ground, but other than that, I can't. It probably, unless I have surgery, it will probably never bend again, to be honest with you. And right now, I'm in a position where I cannot stop to go have any kind of surgery done, because it would put me down, and I wouldn't even be able to get my gardening done.
Yeah, and Joey from JT West he sent us some seeds last year.
Yes.
They were the Jimmy Reds.
The Jimmy Reds. I'm gonna plant
those.
That's
what Danny's planting this year.
I'm gonna plant those this year. I'm not planting any Danny corn because we've got so much of it in the freezer. I'm gonna plant a few rows of the Jimmy Red, mainly just to grind for a little bit of cornmeal, but also to build me up some seeds, because I have about, I'll say right now, I probably have close to 10 different heirloom varieties of field corn that I'm saving, because a man never knows what the weather or the earth is going to do, and I want to be able to have, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. Let me put it to you that way.
Oh, they said the ad played through when I was telling the seeds. There's some Cherokee Tan, Jimmy Red corn, cabbage collards, some field peas, and some Star of David okra. Miss Lippy is a little under the weather. She was going to bed tonight. She had a headache, so she's not on here, because I saw somebody asking how she was doing. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I see Jennifer's in here. Hey, Jen. T-Berry is asking about a lanternfly deterrent. I don't know. We don't have lanternflies here that I'm aware of, because I've never seen them if we do. So I really don't have an answer for that one.
All right, let's see.
It'd be still.
Sue Ann said my yellow wax beans were tough last year. Did I let them go too long? That was their first time planting. If
you let your beans go till they have seeds in them, then you've let them go too long. You need to harvest any snap beans or anything like that. It needs to be harvested before the beans actually start growing in the pod, because if you wait till the bean starts growing, then the hull gets tough, they get strings on them, you got to string them and all that kind of stuff. You want to get them when they're about the size of a number 2 pencil or an ink pen, like that, about that size right there. You don't want to let them get full of seeds.
A lot of people like them thicker than that, but we like ours about that size, and they're tender.
They're very tender. They snap real easy. You don't have any strings on them or anything like that.
How do you deal with cedar rust at Pecan Grove?
We don't. We got a lot of cedar trees now. Let me say that. There's a lot of cedar trees here, but at this point, we have had no issues with cedar rust here. Now, I'm not saying we won't in the future, but right now, we don't have any problem with it.
All right. Let's see where I'm trying to get back down. It jumps when I do that.
Yeah, I can't.
Jennifer said that her mother is at Forest General having symptoms of severe heartburn, which mimics pre-heart attack.
Oh, we'll keep her in prayer then.
Just keep us posted, Jen.
Yeah, keep us posted.
Later.
East Texas Living says they planted 3 hazelnut trees. I've got a ton of them to plant, and I have got to go figure out.
Thanks, Miss Vicki.
Thank you, Miss Vicki. I've got a bunch of them. I'm going to tell you what, Miss Vicki sent me a bunch of fruit trees.
That's going to be in the video.
That'll be in the video, and I mean, they were some really good looking trees. Now, I tell you that. They was good looking trees.
That's probably some of the best trees I've seen in a while.
To be bare root trees, they were some of the best looking trees that we've got, yeah.
Do you put all your corn seeds in the freezer?
Yes, I do all my corn seeds, Gail, in the freezer. Yes.
Let's see where I'm at. Somebody want to know what is cedar rust.
Cedar rust is a disease that hits, it can hit snap beans, it can hit apple trees, different things like that. And it comes from the red, I guess you call it red southern cedars.
Yeah.
And it can be pretty devastating sometimes. I see, hold on a minute, you keep moving it so fast. Kentucky Flat Creeker 2 says planting brassicas I don't know what you got a question mark after it. I mean, now is the time to plant them if it's not freezing where you're at.
All right, Texas Chopper says, how much lime would you add to soil for a carrot bed about 4 foot by 8 foot?
About 4 by 8, probably, depends on the kind of lime you're using. If you're using powdered lime, maybe 1 pound. If I was using pelletized lime, Dolomite lime, now if you use a fast-acting lime for the like for the yard, that stuff is really hot. I probably wouldn't do but about 1/2 pound. But then again, it depends on your soil type. If you have an acidic soil like here where we live at, our soil, the normal pH of it is about 5.5 to 6, and then here the recommendation on the soil test from the state of Mississippi was 2 to 3 tons per acre. So it just depends on where you live at. If you live where there's a lot of limestone in the soil at, it won't take, you may not have to have any, but it just depends. That's why soil tests are so crucial.
She said she's been saving her coffee grounds and eggshells to plant stuff in a kid's pool. Not able to work in a garden.
Well, let me tell you, if you're going to use eggshells, run them through an old coffee grinder and turn them into a dust or a powder, because if you're just putting crushed up eggshells in the ground, that's a myth about it actually putting calcium back in the soil. It would take 5 years for that shell to break down enough for a plant to be able to get calcium out of it. So be sure you run them through like the oven and heat them, and then take them out and put them in an old coffee grinder and run them through till they just become pure powder. Then you put it out, the plant can actually begin to utilize it.
All right, so I was looking to see.
Lord, I don't even know where you're at. You just keep running back and forth with it. I mean,
Allison said Anthony's already in here, but I have not seen the name, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, we've been watching for the name.
Young man named Anthony in here somewhere.
But it's not going to be under Anthony.
No, but I didn't see the name they gave me either, so I'm not sure where. But we wanted to welcome Anthony to our chat, and he's only 14, I believe, and he's wanting to learn to grow things.
Yeah.
And so we're going to send him one of the first packets of seeds. So Anthony, if you will have your mother or your sisters send us an email at deepsouthhomestead@gmail.com and tell us your name and address, and we will get you a packet of seeds so you can help you get started. I've been looking for the name, but I haven't seen it. And last times it passed it so fast, but Allison's helping me, so she must have saw it.
Yeah. Well, it's been going back and forth like this, and I can't. I'm just having to read one as it goes by.
All right.
Oh, Alabama Gardner says he's just watching. He can't type.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That answers a lot.
Well, then make sure you get with him and tell him how to send an email for us, okay?
Okay. Kay Kinman says, how many earthworms should I put in each of my mineral tubs that I'm planting in this year? What I do is go to Walmart and you get these little round things of earthworms or red worms. There's about 30 in a container, and best I remember. I would put about 15 in each one of the little pots or the mineral tubs is what we do. I know they're not the typical, quote, red worms, I guess you might say, like you get if you order them online, but they do the exact same thing.
I saw Mel Ladner said they took a nice ride from northeast Hancock County to T-Shaw, West McHenry to MGCCC.
Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College? Yep. Yeah.
That's a little ways from here, but not too far.
Through
the woods.
Through the woods, it ain't a long way, I don't guess you'd say.
Yeah, through the woods.
Marjorie Beckwith says, can I put 2 tomatoes in 1 5-gallon bucket? You can, as long as they're a determinant. I would not put 2 indeterminates in there. I would only do 1. But as long as it's a determinant, you can do it, but you got to make sure you keep plenty of fertilizer to it.
All right, Patricia wants to know how much bone meal would you add to a very small 2 by 3 foot carrot bed?
Oh, let's see, bone meal. If it's the bagged type bone meal, like organic bone meal, you're not going to get much out of it up front. You're only going to get about 8%. So I would probably put, would put half of probably 2 pounds. Probably put 2 pounds to that size bed of bone meal, because it's going to be about 3 months down the road, 4 months before you get any really benefits out of it. You'll get a little bit up front, but you're not going to get much.
Howard and Renee said their blueberry tomato seeds are coming up. They started them in the house.
Oh, great.
And then Tim Peters said, can you put dry pine chips in the bottom of a container bed and then put the soil on top?
You can, but those dry pine chips are going to pull the nitrogen out of your soil as they're breaking down. And plus, pine chips are probably not the best to use because they're very rosinous. I would rather see someone use hardwood chips than I had pine chips. It takes pine chips a long time to actually break down because they're very acidic.
All right, right here. I've harvested my first carrots today for salads and radishes, but lost all my lettuces to a deep freeze. That's Wicker Bill. Yeah, I harvested some carrots today that was in my Vago bed. I got about a gallon, it wasn't quite a gallon bag of carrots out of that one little Vago bed, and I only planted it in a, it was the 8 foot, and it was a little section about this wide, 8 foot long. So I thought that was pretty good for my first time growing by myself.
Scanes girl asked, how many sweet potato slips can you grow in a 5-gallon bucket? Well, you can grow enough to plant probably, depends on how many potatoes you put in there first of all. If you put, I would put probably, now don't use the old big old potatoes, and when you do slips, stay away from them old big potatoes. Use the little small skinny ones. I would probably put anywhere between 5 and 10 potatoes in that bucket, and you probably would get enough potato slips off of that to plant, I wouldn't hesitate to say you get 100 off of it before the summer was over.
Will the Vago beds rust out? They have a coating on them that...
You get a 20-year warranty with them.
Yeah. I'm not going to say they won't rust.
I know, I'm not going to say they won't.
But what, 2 years?
We've had ours 2 years, yeah.
Going on 2 years, and so
far, nothing.
You know,
now if you knock the paint off of them,
yeah,
they might rust, but as long as you don't. Mona Schmidt, that's going by, says, when is the maybe hurricane expected? I can't see it, it keeps rolling past it. Oh, I have a Caribbean cruise planned. It is going to be probably the 1st or 2nd week in March.
Somebody says, what does rosinous mean?
Rosinous means that you have pine tar in something other, like turpentine.
A lot of people don't know what turpentine is. Just tar out of pine.
Tar out of sap that runs out of pine trees.
Sap might be a better word.
Yeah, sap is a rosin.
Okay. When is the best time to do a soil sample?
Now. Now, well, actually in the fall would have been the best time, but now is you still have time to do it now, because you can still put your amendments in the soil
as you plant.
Or do it before you plant. Don't do it as you plant.
Is it all right to plant blueberry trees near pine trees?
Yes, blueberries do fine near pine trees, because pine trees need an acidic soil. Blueberries need an acidic soil.
Okay, so what fruit trees would you plant, or can you plant now, as opposed to the ones you should have planted in the fall?
You can plant any of your fruit trees right now. Literally, you can plant any of them right now.
Bare root and potted.
Bare root and potted. The problem is you're running out of time. because in about a month, it's going to be too late.
Need, what, February is usually your months to plant?
January and February are your months to plant. March for the northern states, but you ain't going to get much past March.
Okay, so you want to plant your fruit trees early.
Yeah.
Even citrus? Or is citrus a little later?
You know, when you plant citruses, they gonna mostly stay in pots. I mean, some people put them in the ground, but if they put them where citruses grow at, you don't have to worry about it because
Okay.
it's not gonna get that cold.
Looking to see. Ron popped in.
I saw him.
Another polar vortex around the first week in March.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that might be coming too.
Yeah, that's.
Any preferences on bare root versus potted?
Well, it depends. B. Gatlin, bare root trees tend to do better in the long run. Potted trees, the problem with potted trees is most people just take them out of the pot and stick them straight in the ground. And on my videos, I show taking my hands and tearing the roots loose in the pots, because you want those roots, because in the pot they'll start growing around in circles, and when you put them in the ground they're already growing around in circles. They're not growing out like that. You want to take and pull them roots out of there, even if you have to tear them and break them and just pull them apart and get them where they start headed out in other directions. Don't leave them. I mean, that's the biggest mistake most people make with a potted plant.
Can you plant sugar beets near sweet potatoes?
That I do not know, because we don't grow sugar beets.
Okay.
Sugar beets don't grow in the deep south, so I really do not have an answer to that one.
They're saying happy birthday to Miss Carolyn. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Miss Carolyn. Ronald Hagan says, Danny, is it against scripture to eat pork? No.
Do you plant strawberries and blueberries now?
Yes. Strawberries in the south should have been planted in November, but you can plant them now as long as you go ahead and get them in the ground. And blueberries, yes, so you can plant blueberries now.
Any experience with forestry mulch cleared land? That's Ron.
Ron, yeah, I mean, the thing that most people don't understand, Ron, about forestry mulch cleared land is it doesn't take the underbrush out. It doesn't take the roots out. And most of this stuff within a year will just pop right back up. I'm not a big fan of the forestry mulchers, but, you know, some people are, because they want to clear them out between their pine trees and all really quick.
All right, Grandma Deb says, when I start my okra seeds, do I put one seed or two?
One.
When would you recommend starting strawberry seeds in Georgia?
I have no experience with starting strawberry seeds. To me,
we use the crowns.
Just buy the plants, because strawberry seeds are very, very difficult to grow.
Yeah, they're kind of like asparagus seeds.
Yeah.
It's better to get the crowns than it is to try.
Well, or that, or like stevia. Like trying to start the stevia seeds. That has got to be the hardest thing in the world to make happen.
Tim says, I found a 20-foot by 2-foot lighted tree. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
We've got so many here.
We've got several of them here, but I mean,
pulling up out of the woods, Danny just hadn't had time.
Yeah, if you found one that big, I wouldn't cut it up in pieces. I'd do my best to get the whole tree out.
Now they're making me hungry. Fried cabbage with taters and cornbread. That sounds good.
Gabrielle Lewis says, what plants benefit from using calcium nitrate? Basically, any of your plants do. I mean, I use calcium nitrate on my peppers, on my tomatoes, on my cabbage, on my onions, on my cauliflower. I mean, I use it on just about everything I plant. But now I do use it when it begins to bloom, usually. Or onions, I do it about halfway through the growth of the onion.
All right. Miss Gail says, if my neighbor has a cedar tree about 50 yards from my garden, will it give me rust?
Gail, it's probably not. You know, I mean, I don't never worry about stuff like that. I have an apple tree at Deep South Homestead that's about 10 foot from a giant cedar tree, and that apple tree has never had cedar rust. You know what I mean? So, and it's an Anna
We have
apple.
some pretty apples on it this year.
Last year we had beautiful apples on it.
Now, will it have it at some point? We don't know.
I don't know. I mean, right now it does not.
All right, potato towers versus rows. We've always done rows.
Yeah, we just do them in the rows. Just bed up the rows and do them.
You know, if you're limited in space, that would be one thing.
Yes, it depends on how much garden space you have. Yeah.
Where
Crystal Mazel says, when's a good time to plant muscadines in East Texas? Anytime before spring sets in is a good time.
All right, Robert Mitchell wants to know, where did you buy your fans in the high tunnel?
They came from Grower Solutions. They're just what's called vortex fans from Grower Solutions. They hang on the pipes in there. They're made specifically for that purpose. I forgot, I don't remember how much they were, but I remember, but they did come from Grower Solutions.
All right, I saw on a website to use baking soda, white vinegar, and water. Will that make the plants excel?
I would not use vinegar on any plant because vinegar kills plants.
Now the baking soda and
the baking soda, yes.
Hydrogen peroxide.
Baking soda, hydrogen peroxide, those kind of stuff. Milk, things like that will get rid of the powdery mildew that gets on plants.
But you have to be very careful with vinegar because it could.
Vinegar will burn anything and kill it.
I mean, maybe a minute amount, but I would research it before I did. What kind of sausage was Miss Wanda gonna fix with the cabbage you picked the other day? We have our own
deer sausage, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we have our own deer sausage, plus we have pork sausage. But yeah, I just whatever sausage we have available. But usually it's our pork, and we're fixing to have another one. So.
Yeah. Hey, Alabama says, what direction did you say you put your high tunnels in? Well, we live in a hurricane zone, and our worst hurricanes come out of the east and northeast. So I build my high tunnels from northeast to southwest is how I put mine in. That depends on where you live at in the country, where your worst weather comes from and stuff like that. Our tornadoes and stuff like that come out of the southwest going toward the northeast. Our hurricanes come out of the northeast going toward the southwest. So I plant them in that direction. I mean, I didn't plant them. I put my high tunnel in that direction.
Bama Forgiven says that they're going to try the deer bacon recipe. Are y'all still enjoying it? Yes, I had some. Was it today or yesterday? Yeah,
Chris ate some the other day when he was over
Chris
here.
Some.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried hobos? I'm not sure what hobos is.
I don't know what hobos are. So evidently not. I have evidently not tried them. Because I don't know what they are.
Unless they go by a different name.
Yeah.
I have pork bellies curing like you did with the celery sugar and kosher salt, hot or cold smoke, where I didn't use a pink curing salt.
I would hot smoke it if it was me. I wouldn't cold smoke it. And that's our life off grid.
Lots of commercials on tonight. I'm sorry.
George Scott says, I use baking soda and vinegar to unclog drains, laugh out loud. So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's definitely, yeah. Hold on. One of them I missed. Best time to prune fig trees in zone 7. That's Bing Fisher. Anytime the tree is dormant, you can prune it. It's just that fig trees usually don't require pruning unless you just don't want them to get over a certain height. And if you're in zone 7, they're not going to probably get to be over 10 feet tall probably. But it all depends on if you want to keep them pruned down. Just anytime they're dormant.
All right, Ronald asked, what is your very favorite way of fixing sweet potatoes?
Very favorite? I don't have a very favorite way.
He likes them anyway.
I just like them anyway. I like sweet potato fries. I like sweet potato bread. I like sweet potato dessert that Miss Wanda makes me.
Baked sweet potatoes.
Baked sweet potatoes with honey and butter and just.
Any way I make sweet potatoes.
You can't ruin a sweet potato as far as I'm concerned.
Sue Miller says, this is my first time trying to hatch chicks in an incubator. Today is day 22 and not a peep.
It depends on the breed. Do not give up. Some breeds take longer than 21 days. And plus, it all depends on if you kept the humidity right and the temperature right. If you didn't keep the humidity and the temperature right, it is a problem. It could be that they won't make it, but I mean, that's a big time deal. Keeping the water in there right and keeping the temperature
right. Z Fox, Danny, I was wanting to plant the jungle peanuts as my learning plant for this year, but can't find any ideas.
Oh, where was I? I saw some jungle peanuts the other day somewhere for sale. I forgot what company it was now.
Was it St. Clair's?
I don't remember. I look at so much stuff.
I would say just Google jungle peanuts for sale and see if any of your seed companies pop up.
Yeah.
That's usually the best way to do it.
Somebody said they had, you moved it, I didn't get to read it, something about venison and spaghetti from the garden last year.
All right, do we eat corned beef?
Darlene, no, I have eaten it before, but I don't really eat it anymore because I don't eat anything from a store, anything store-bought.
And I hadn't figured out how to make it
well,
yet.
I mean, I know how to make it, but
I hadn't tried it.
I don't eat anything we don't raise usually. So, or unless I know it or where it came from. I don't eat anything out of a can. That's unless I know where it come from specifically and how it was prepared. I'm just that picky.
Do you recommend Haas 10-10-10 or 20-20-20 on raised beds and containers?
I recommend the 20-20-20 myself on Haas because we've had the best luck with 20-20-20.
All right. Thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Is he here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you dry age any of your meat?
No, we don't. We don't dry age any of our meat. We don't do anything like salamis or anything like that. We pretty much don't do any of that.
It looks like our friends from Silver Run Coffee Crafters are in here. And Jennifer, I got your coffee at my house.
Yep.
I'm going to be drinking it if you don't come get it. Now I've got one. So while they're in the house, we want to say thank you to them. They've been letting us give away a bag of coffee every week, and several people have contacted me and they said, oh, they are hooked. One of the ladies yesterday or today contacted me and said she liked the Mellow Brew. So that's the best decaffeinated coffee she's ever had. So tonight we want to give away, which one should we give away? A Mellow Brew, the decaf?
Do you have it?
Well, I don't have it, but she has it.
Well, I thought there was a shortage of it.
No, not Mellow Brew. She's got that back, I think.
Okay.
So, anybody need Mellow Brew, which is a decaf
That's a decaffeinated coffee.
And it is mountain water pressed, I think's the way they say it. And Jennifer says she's coming Tuesday. Okay. So we'll be checking out, see which one wants some decaf coffee.
Let's see here. It's going by now.
Yeah, and they all want decaf now, and I got to stop it and run it back. Tammy Hindman,
Hindman.
T-A-M-I.
Tammy Hindman.
And Hindman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Send Ms. Wanda your information, email it, and she will send you a pack of decaf mellow brew.
Yes.
Okay, Ronald Hagan says, do you see an end to this bird flu? First of all, don't pay any attention to that. And you done skipped it. I don't even know what the rest of it was. You won't leave it alone.
I bumped it and it went down.
I still don't see it.
Was it that far back?
Yeah, it was way on back there. You went way ahead with it.
Oh.
But anyway, there it is right there.
Okay.
The price of eggs is ridiculous. The price of eggs has nothing to do with the bird flu, okay? The price of eggs, I've been involved in this industry for way too long, for too many years ago. In the beef industry and all that, we would sometimes run the pork up, sometimes we'd run the beef up, sometimes we'd run the chicken up. It's all about manipulating the market is basically what it's all about. The eggs are going to come back. Don't worry about it. They'll come back.
Yeah, give them another
Give them a little while.
2 or 3 weeks.
And then it'll be pork, and then it'll be beef again, and then it's just a vicious cycle. Now, hopefully under the new administration, maybe some of this with Mr. Kennedy might get straightened out. I don't know, but it's possible.
All right, Child of the Kings asked, how do you sell your seeds on your YouTube channel? We don't.
We don't.
We sell only things on our Etsy store, which is deepsouthhomestead.etsy.com, but we don't sell very many seeds.
We don't sell very many seeds anymore.
We're out of Danny corn right now, and about the only thing up is our books. Danny wrote a carrot manual, a sweet potato manual, and carrot manual, English pea manual.
Yeah.
I think that's about all we have up on the Etsy store right now. Okay.
Yeah, just take it easy. Let it roll down slowly.
I tried that and it jumps when I don't hit it very.
Let's see here.
Let's see.
You know, coffee went up again. This is Bradley Moore says, you know, coffee went up again. Maxwell House Columbia is the brand I drink. You couldn't make me drink Maxwell House and all that. Once I know what goes in them and the chemicals that they use in them, I would not drink it. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to say anything bad about it, but if you only knew what they was putting in those coffees, you would not drink them.
Oh, they got more of my funky espresso. Thank you. I'm gonna need another bag in about a week, so just hang on to one. I'll be getting with you next week sometime. I just ground mine day before yesterday because I had a little bit left in another bag, and I think today was the first day I used out of the new bag, so about a week down. Summer weather predictions.
That's
Super hot.
Little Figlet Farmer says summer weather predictions. Super hot or northern Arkansas here. Yes, this summer is going to be super hot. Once we get past this cool spell, it's going to be super hot this summer.
All right, the coffee company is called SilverRunCoffee.com.
Okay.
SilverRunCoffee.com.
Juanita Gates says, what can I do? My fig tree has not had any fruit on it in 2 years. Help. Depends on the variety of the fig, first of all. Secondly, it depends on do you have it mulched? Because it needs to be mulched pretty heavily around the base of it. And just depends on the area in which you live in as to whether or not it has time to grow in 2 years to make figs. If it's too cool.
Okay, so Silver Run Coffee Crafter says I could give away one of the Funky Espressos. So anybody want to try the Funky Espresso? Actually, that's become my favorite coffee. I actually won an espresso maker little on the stove, and I'm telling you, I'm hooked on it. It has an absolute wonderful taste. So if any of you guys would like to try it, and it has the caffeine for all of you that saying you want caffeine. It's not heavy coffee. It's a real mellow. It's almost looks like butter when you're pouring it out. It's got that just rich, I'd say more like Danny's cane syrup.
Oh,
That's
I
what
don't know where you was going with that.
I was trying to think what I was thinking. It
Yeah.
looks like cane syrup when you're pouring it out. It's beautiful. Some of the prettiest coffee the funky espresso is. Let's see.
Let's see here.
I'm about to get.
Oh boy, it jumped.
Let's see.
Oh.
I'm trying to.
Let's see.
Here's a whole bunch.
Trying to get where I can read it here. I got my glasses on. I guess I could put them on.
All right. I don't think they have a decaf espresso yet, but they were working on some new decafs, so I'm not sure about that.
Let's see here. Now I can see.
All right, so
I use
how about Laura Carter?
Laura Carter. Okay.
She said any kind coffee anytime. CARTER. You'll have to send me an email, and I'll see that Miss Rebecca gets those out to you guys. And I'm telling you, if you like good coffee of any kind, they have a variety. And they grind it for you anyway. If you have a drip coffee pot, they grind it for a drip. The grind matters. If you
how you grind the coffee matters.
If you have a pot that you use on the stove, a percolator, you tell them and they grind it for a percolator. If you have a drip pot, espresso is even different. I mean, all kinds of different ways to make coffee, and it is good. Oh
God, we're almost to run out of time here, guys.
Let me tell them my winners for
Miss Wanda's going to tell you all the winners because we've got to go run some errands as soon as this is over. So we need to kind of get this taken care of.
I do need you guys to send me your emails at deepsouthhomestead@gmail.com. Number one, Anthony. Abama's going to help him, and he's going to get me his information. Then we've got Hannah's Helping Hands, Marcia Shelley, John Forearm. John had another name in the middle, but I called John Forearm. I don't know what the middle name was. Robert Mitchell. And if you guys would let me have your address.
Y'all guys try to get your emails to Ms. Wanda as quickly as possible so she can get this.
We'll get it out this week.
Get it out this week.
Now, I ain't promising it's going to get there for 2 or 3 weeks because of Jackson Post Office, but I'll get it out. All right.
We will keep you in our prayers, James. Let's see here.
Trying to see. Mr. Bart says, a hobo is a sausage cooked, then chopped up, then add eggs. Cook all together. Add toast if you like. That's a hobo. Thanks, Bart.
Bart, I've never heard of that. Okay.
Not thought about that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, somebody, prayers for James Baker. We want to remember Abigail. Somebody at the beginning of the chat asked prayers for someone named Abigail. And then Danny's daughter, Jennifer and Carrie, their mother, Becky. And remember her. James.
There's Marcia Shelley says, thank you. I have never won anything before.
All right, Marcia.
Just make sure you get your get an email to Ms. Wanda, deepsouthhomestead@gmail.com.
What was the name of the company? It is silverruncoffee.com. I can type it in. I think my
Ronald, the age is not the ideal thing about processing a hog, it's the weight. Usually we do around 180 to 250, somewhere in that area. This last one we just let get to be about 350 to 400. He got to be way too big.
All right, Mark Kreger says he's had the flu all week. Diane says pray for her husband on a heart cath. Darlene said for Mark. He's in the hospital. We want to pray for our country. We want to pray for the things that are going on overseas. Sky said her sister passed this week.
Juanita says, I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, and it's a brown turkey fig. Thank you. Yeah, well, brown turkey in Alabama should be... In Birmingham, you're in zone 7A, so you should... this being the third year, if you mulch it good and keep it damp, around, not wet, but just damp, it should bear you some figs this year.
Jennifer said Troy's dad's having a heart test this week.
Okay.
Different ones, son's mental health, sister. Miss Gail says her daughter. Abama Gardner is in here. When
it's
we're
8 o'clock. Her. All right, guys.
Prayers for our nation.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock here. I mean, I've been. Okay. Father, we thank you for the beautiful day you've given us. We thank you for being so good to us. You're better to us than we deserve to be done. Lord, and tonight here, there has been a lot of requests asked tonight. There's been people that have cancer that has showed up, Father, and we're praying that, I pray that as they do the PET scans and stuff on these people, Lord, that they'd come back negative, Father, just be a mistake, and that they'd have instantaneous healing on their bodies. And then if not, that's not the case, then Father, I pray that you give them the grace and the mercy to be able to go through the trials and the tribulations that goes with dealing with this disease. We know that AI now has cures for these cancers out there, and we just pray that they'll go ahead under the new administration and they'll let these things be known to the people so that they won't have to go through all the rigorous chemotherapy and stuff like that, and the horrors that go along with it, Lord, the sicknesses and things like that. We just speak healing on these people's bodies. And I pray for Jennifer's mom as she's in the hospital tonight, that you would just let it be nothing, Father, but just maybe some indigestion or something like that, maybe some acid reflux or something, and not have any other types of issues. And the ones that's had some financial and issues that's been mentioned, and Lord, some of the ones that mentioned some psychological issues that you're having to deal with, and Father, the other physical issues that was mentioned. And also, I saw one that said something about the loss of a loved one. And Father, I pray for those especially, that they could find closure and peace and comfort to be able to deal with the loss of a loved one now. And Lord, I pray for our nation. We're fixing to head into some pretty troublesome waters. Times are fixing to get really tough, and it's not going to be easy in the near future, Father. Even though people seem to have the thoughts in the mind right now that we're going into a lot better times, it's probably it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I pray for our leaders. I pray for all of the ones that's being put into positions of authority in this country, that they would be granted wisdom, knowledge, understanding, discernment, all the things that they need. And that most of all, that they'd put you first before they make the decisions that they make in this country now. And to keep the people in thoughts and in mind as they make the decisions that they make. And Father, we love you, we appreciate you, and just ask that tonight, as the weather begins to come through for some people along the southern coast of New Orleans or Louisiana and Texas and the Gulf Coasts and Alabama and all, going into Florida, that you would watch over all these, and then the horrible frigid weather that's been going through the center of the country, Lord, we pray for all of those, and then the next weather that's fixing to come through. It'll probably be in another week or so. We're praying that you'll just be gracious to us, Lord, and not let it be as bad as the last ones has been. So we thank you, and we ask that you grant us all the blessings of obedience now. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. Okay.
Do you have a tip?
Let's see here. I'll make sure I ain't got something.
As far as I just asking prayer for different ones,
Yeah, I see praying for the cancer, knee replacements, and stuff like that. In Jesus'
It's
name.
catching up.
It's catching up. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right.
Tip. Tip.
Okay, I know. I'm sitting here looking and seeing.
Yep,
Yep. Everybody wants it. Okay. Yeah, we don't have a lot of time tonight, guys. So, because me and Miss Wanda's got to go do some things tonight. The tip. What I'm gonna do for a tip tonight is I'm going to give you some places to keep your eyes on. There's some things that's beginning to happen that's probably not in the news. Of course, I don't know because I don't watch the news, but I'm saying it's probably not in the news. But for you to keep your eyes on. One is in Nepal. Keep your eyes on Nepal. There's some things going on around Nepal that no one's really talking about. Another place is Ethiopia. There's some things going on in Ethiopia right now that not many people that I've heard of is even mentioning it. Saudi Arabia is another place you need to keep your eyes on. Of course, continue to watch Damascus, because Damascus will be the key turning point for the Middle East and the things that's going on there. And let's see, was there one more? Oh man, where did it go? Can't remember the last place. There was another place I was going to mention that that some things have begun to start showing up. Of course, keep your eyes on the whole country of Africa. There's a few things that's beginning to happen in the country of Africa that I can't go into any kind of details about any of this, but I'm just telling you guys, like I told you to keep your eyes on the skies, like the plane crashes, they're not over yet. You're probably going to see a few more of them before they start to quit happening. But now I'm going to tell you to start watching these countries. Egypt, keep your eyes on Egypt, because Egypt is now beginning to move a lot of their equipment up to the borders of their country, up toward Israel, up that way. Everybody's kind of on pins and needles in that area right there. The Gaza Strip is another big area to continue to watch, because most people don't know we've already built a huge port in Gaza right now, spent billions of dollars building this port in there, and they're wanting to get all the people out of there where they can go back in there and rebuild this whole area and then divide the land of Israel up. And we all know what the scripture says: if you divide the land of Israel, your land will get divided. There's the Iron Dome that's being put over the southern part of the United States down here. There's the new big AI facility that's being built in southern Texas. There's so many things that's going on right now that is quite concerning. There's fixing to be a very big push in this country having to do with immigrants, which could lead to some uprisings. So be aware of that. Be aware of what's going on in the Ukraine right now, because there's fixing to be some pretty big issues that's going to pop up in the Ukraine, and that's a troublesome spot right there. I'm hoping that they can kind of get this thing negotiated out to where it doesn't escalate any further than what it already is. And I'm hoping that, well, let me put it to you like this. Don't be surprised if Israel makes a move that is going to shock the world, because Israel is just waiting. In other words, Benjamin Netanyahu, or Bibi, whatever you want to call him, has wanted to make some some pretty serious moves in the past, and luckily he's been held back by the United States, but I'm not sure how much longer that's going to work, because there are some things that's on the table right now in Israel that could very well escalate the Middle East situation. Let's just say right now there's a certain individual running around in the Middle East over there, and he's bringing together all of the Islamic nations together. There's about 30 of them, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, between 30 and 40 of these nations is being brought together to create one giant military, and it's not good. Let me put it to you that way. It's not good. So please be aware of that. So keep your eyes on those things. I'm not going to say any more about them. I'm going to kind of like leave it at that.
Allison said we missed some super chats. I did not see any on my end.
We didn't see them on our end.
She said there was several super chats, so I want to say thank you
to
y'all. We didn't know that we missed them. I guess maybe Danny was talking and I didn't see it pop up.
Yeah, but usually they're up at the top.
Yeah, they usually are, and I hadn't seen any.
We didn't see
I'm
any.
not sure why that's not popping up tonight. But thank you, thank you, thank you. And Ron, she said, asked, did we need some goji berries? We don't, but
no.
If somebody in the chat needs some, if you want to send me an email and I can get it to Ron, he would be willing to send some out. Okay, I think I've covered most everything.
Yeah.
We've got to get going, but yeah, other people saying they didn't see any either.
Yeah,
so
I didn't see any.
I didn't see any super chats, but if you did, we didn't mean to ignore any.
Yeah, we didn't mean to ignore any, but we
all.
did not see the first one. Thank you so much if they're there.
Yeah. So we've got to go, but we will see y'all next week, and please check us out over at Pecan Grove.
Yep.
Danny's cooler is what's coming up.
We got
Monday.
a video on the new cooler coming up. Got a video on a pig. Got a video on fruit trees. Got a video on all these kind of things fixing to come up. And maybe y'all will be able to, maybe even some new high tunnel stuff coming up, some things like that. So maybe y'all will receive a blessing from it anyway. Thank you guys from Pecan. Here I am, Pecan Grove. I got Pecan Grove on my mind. Thank you guys from Deep South Homestead.